What's good, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessamine Stanley. I'm a yoga teacher, and here we practice the yoga of everyday life. If you're looking for like regular yoga, like yoga that you would practice on a yoga mat, you should join my yoga studio, The Underbelly, where you can get over 200 yoga and meditation classes taught by me. Go to the link in the description box for a free trial of The Underbelly. In today's video, we're going to discuss how kink can be used as a healing practice. If you've been here before, then you know that I love to talk about sex and relationships and kink practices like rope and shibari. Kink is often fully associated with sex, which is great. Sex is great, but kink is a healing practice that extends beyond sex. And today we're going to get into what that means. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And let's get into the yoga of kink and wellness. Okay, so what is kink? According to Wikipedia, in human sexuality, kink is the use of non-conventional sexual practices, concepts, or fantasies. The term derives from the idea of a bend or a kink in one's sexual behaviors, which is a contrast to what's often called straight or vanilla behaviors or mores or practices. So how is kink a healing practice? Kink allows us to dive deeper into different parts of our lives and experiences that we might usually hide, like our fears and our struggles and our shame. Our fears, struggles, and shame have the potential to become a big part of our identity, and they can limit us from moving forward in our lives. Finding a way to deal with that underlying emotional experience can create major breakthroughs in every part of your life. Kink is not necessarily sexual. You can definitely do kinky things that are not at all sexual. And you can have kink relationships that are purely platonic and or aromantic and or not sexual. Kink can be a solo practice, or you can practice it in relationships with other people. Kink can be deeply psychological. Like, I personally would argue that all kink is psychological, but it can also be purely physical. Kink can be purely physical. No, kink can be deeply psychological, and sometimes it can be purely physical. There's a wide spectrum of what kink is, and within that spectrum, there's a lot of room to learn about yourself. There's so many different kinks. Like, there's an infinite number of kinks. Every human being has so many kinks, and they're all dependent upon where you're from, how you grew up, your relationship with your parents, your relationship with your community, your relationship with your racial identity, with your gender identity, your relationship with different professions. There's just so many different ways to have a kink. Your relationship to different sensations, like some people have balloon kinks where they really like the way that balloons feel. And going along with that, like some people have different material kinks, like nylon or leather is a very, very popular sensation and material to work with in kink because of the way that it feels. Feathers are another very common kink. In my experience, some of the most interesting kinks to work with are the ones that really pull at my childhood trauma and trying to understand who I am as a person. And I have noticed this with a lot of people. This is extremely common to have some kind of deeply set, usually familial kind of kink that you're working on and working with. Pretty common kink is to have some sort of fantasy around parental roles. It makes sense. The very first relationship that you have is with your parents, whether it's a good relationship or a bad relationship, whether they were in your life or not in your life. And so that tends to be something that a lot of people in kink relationships will work with and play with. It's a pretty hard dynamic to deal with in your vanilla life. When you're at work or with your children, even in your romantic relationships, it's hard to deal with these really challenging themes about family that sometimes not dealing with those relationships within ourselves can make it hard to even have romantic relationships. But in your kink life, you have the space and boundaries to engage with really challenging life experiences that can hold you back from expressing your full magnificence. A kink relationship is ideally a heavily negotiated connection with one or more people where you set boundaries for practices and rituals that you can practice together. It's commonly called playtime because we're all little kids. Apparently we all play. The relationship is negotiated so that everyone can find healing. Those practices and rituals can run the gamut, and they can include but are not limited to sensation play, breath play, impact play, restraint play, etc., etc., etc. So going back to the parental kink, if you have daddy issues like the rest of us, it's cool to practice kink with other people who have complementary daddy or mommy issues so that you can find safety and healing with each other outside of your work, family, romantic, and other types of relationships. I feel like we're skirting around the issue of topping and bottoming. I'm not going to talk about that in this video. Check out my video about topping for a deeper look at that aspect of kink. Everyone has trauma. Everyone needs healing. That's what it means to be human. We're all going through a lot every single day, and we're all carrying a lot of emotional baggage. Kink is a safe place to unpack that baggage and come home to yourself without shame. Shame or fear of feeling shame is what gets in the way of living your dreams and being your true self. And finding ways to deal with shame and trauma is the key to finding healing within yourself. So whether it's kink or yoga or some other healing modality, I hope you're able to find the practices that help you come home to yourself. Ask yourself these questions. What are you into? What turns you on? What makes you happy? What makes you sad? Where do you want to go from here? What do you really want out of life? Finding the healing modalities that work for you is it's this way of practicing and exploring and enjoying that takes care of the needs that you have. Thanks for watching this video. Join my yoga studio, The Underbelly. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye.